Hi, I'm JJ. Welcome or welcome back. I'm going to do my TBR for 2026 on just 26 and 26. So these are not going to be all of the books that I'm going to be reading, obviously, but I did want to at least mention the six that are still on my list that need to come out that I will be purchasing. These are the ones I'm purchasing. With the exception of two more on my birthday that I'm not sure which ones I want, but I am giving myself two birthday purchases as well as these upcoming ones, and then no more in 2026. Then several of them are on hold from the library and have been for months and still are months out, so I'll be reading those when I get them. And then a couple of them are buddy reads that I have planned, and then the rest of them, I could have been so many on this list, but I wanted to do ones that if I could only read these 26, these would be the 26 that I would read in 2026. So the first one would be book 3 of the Echo Archives by Melissa Caruso. So the first one is The Hour Between Worlds, and then the second one is The Last Souls. I just blanked. But anyway, so it would be book 3 in that series, and I'm really looking forward to it. Number 2. This will be interesting, and this is I don't know if it's a sequel, but it is a book 2 by Evie Asher. I really enjoyed this. Should be fun. So this will be interesting. Comes out in March, March 24th, so I'll be looking forward to that. Electo the Ninth by Tamsin Muir. This is the last book in the Locked Tomb series, and I have been waiting. It keeps getting pushed back and pushed back. It was supposed to be released in 2025, so it should be released sometimes in 2026, and as soon as it comes, I am definitely going to be reading that one. Another one that no matter what it is, I'm going to read is Ashley Herring Blake's next one, Get Over It, April Evans. She kind of does a trilogy where she introduces characters within her stories, and then she does a trilogy of it, and like a minor character in the first book will be featured heavily in the second, and so forth. So this is actually book 2 in a new trilogy that she's doing. And then book 5 is The Fertility of Evil by Amara Lockhouse. And that is a writer, and it's about the decolonization of Algeria, and it follows the effects of that in a criminal case and I don't know much about it. I saw it mentioned, I read about it, and it's a new release that's coming. And I really want to read it for my read around the world, but also because it sounded really interesting. This Wretched Beauty by Elle Grenier, and this is part of the Remixed Classics series, and so this is going to be a retelling of Dorian Gray, The Picture of Dorian Gray. But Dorian Gray in this is non-binary. So I'm looking forward to that one. Dorian Gray, The Picture of Dorian Gray is one of my favorite books. So I'm really wondering how they're going to pull this off, but I'm interested, and that comes out in February. So it will be a birthday present for me as well. Number 7 through 12 are all books that I have reserved and I'm waiting for at the library. Nobody's Girl by Virginia Roberts Gifford. So she was the one who blew the lid off on the Epstein stuff that's happening in the United States with underage girls who were basically abused, taken, used by a bunch of foreign officials and rich people Obviously Trump is, it's been said he's in it. We're waiting for the actual proof. We all believe that he was, but she was the first one who come forward. This is her story. And then she died by suicide after it came out. So I'm really, I've been wanting to read her book. And that might end up being one that I purchase for my birthday if I don't get it before then. But it has a several months wait at the library, so we'll see. The number 8 is The Reformatory by Tana Nariv Do. And that one I keep getting recommended, and I'm really excited about it. It seems like it's more like a supernatural horror story type of thing, but it also sounds like it deals with a lot of race issues and stuff like that. Empire of Silence is another one that I have waiting at the library. It's a fantasy book 1 of a series by Christopher Ricciuo. I am horrible at names. I'm not even going to try anymore. The next one is The Avatar and the Showman. That's by Lori Gwen Shapiro. And that is about Amelia Earhart and the person who kind of goes into business with her and funds her trips and stuff. So I read a brief one about Amelia a while back, but it didn't have a whole lot of detail about her actual life and stuff. So it was more about her missing and what might have happened to her. So I do want to know more about her actual life. That's also on hold at the library. A Guardian and a Thief by Megha Majumdar. And the last one on hold at the library is Brigands and Bread Knives by Travis Baltry. I talk about him in a recent wrap-up in November because I just read another one of his, but he does like cozy fantasies, and this is supposed to be the next in that series, his newest one. The next one, number 13, Wolf Hall by Hilary Mantel. I have it in audiobook as well as ebook, so I'll probably be reading and listening just to try to get through it for this year because it's going to be a longer one. And I'm hoping to have it finished so that I can at least talk about it during Tutor-tember in September. And I finally want to get around to book 2 of the Plantagenet series. I really liked When Christ and His Saints Slept, and these are by Sharon K. Penman. So book 2 is Time and Chance, and so it's about Henry II, who eventually he becomes the king, who has Prince John that everybody knows from Robin Hood lore, and Richard, the Lionheart, Richard I, who is in the Crusades and stuff. So we also briefly got to meet Eleanor of Aquitaine in book 1. She's a fascinating person, and she's going to be more prevalent in these next few books. And then I'm really excited to read the rest of the series, but I need to start with this one. The next one is Mongrel by Hannako Footman. This one I've been wanting to read. It was really hard to find this book, and I had to really search around and get it, and I got it, and I can't put it off. I need to actually read it, and so it shifts between 3 narratives, and it's a Japanese author. So you have Mai, Yuki, and Horuka, and it sounds like it's different time periods, and you get this sense of, it says, web of desire, isolation, belonging, and hope. And I just, I had heard about this book really early last year, looked everywhere for it, tried to scour ways to get it online, and it's really hard with like all the shipping costs and stuff. So I finally was able to get a copy. So I definitely want to make sure that I read it. Number 16, Arc of the Universe by Nikki Alexander. And that is a story of a woman who studied constitutional law and gets to make the new constitution for Mars. Now that there's, it's a science fiction and they're setting up, establishing life in a colony on Mars. And she gets to write the constitution for it. And she's trying to figure out how to write it. But she's a Black woman in the United States, and she experiences racial injustice, basically police brutality, and it makes her rethink the Constitution that she was drawing up and how she was using the United States' Constitution for it, and how unjust that Constitution may be for people like her, and she wants to try to make something better. It sounds absolutely fascinating, and that's actually one that I'm looking most forward to in this new year. This one was a recommendation from Doug, who's my friend on this channel, and he's suggested Havisham by Ronald Frame, and that is about, Miss Havisham from Great Expectations by Charles Dickens. And so you get her life story, her prequel, essentially, that led her into the way that she was portrayed in his book. She's a fascinating character, and I'm really looking forward to getting more depth from her. Number 18, My Uncle Napoleon. I forgot to write the author of this, but it is Iranian story, and it's supposed to be funny and, a bunch of, different family dynamics and stuff going on, but very much more lighthearted than a lot of the other stuff I've read from Iran. And I actually had heard about it a year ago when I read Martyr, because it was mentioned in that book, and I've been wanting to read it ever since. 19, Plato and the Tyrant by James Romm. I read his book Dying Every Day about Seneca, and this one will be about Seneca and Nero, and this one will be about Plato. And this is basically the Greek version of the Greek history and stuff that kind of mirrors what I would have learned about for the Roman history. And it is kind of interesting how similar these two cases are from other countries, other empires, in a big time span that separates them. So I really enjoyed his writing. Dying Every Day was a fantastic book. I highly recommend it. I do also want to read the Ghost on the Throne, which is about Alexander the Great. So that might be my next one of his on my list. I do have that one in ebook, but we'll see if I can get to that this year as well. So in April, I'm planning to read Alamont with Angelina and another one of her friends. I'm sorry that I said your name wrong for the first time. It's going to be a buddy read that we read. She gifted this to me, and so we're going to read it together. So check out Angelina's channel, and hers is Books Do Things to Me, if you want to follow along when we read this one. And in February, I'm reading this one with Doug, and this will be another buddy read. So this is 38 Nooses. I've mentioned it a couple times in different videos of mine, but I have not got around to reading that, so we're going to remedy that together in February. So if anyone else wants to read either of these books, especially this one, then read it with us. Alamut is a Slovenian book. And this one is about, obviously, Lincoln, Little Crow, and the beginning of the frontier's end. So the 38 nooses are 38 Dakotas that were hanged by Lincoln. And you learn about this because it's in 1862. So you learn about this briefly in a couple of other books that I read. But he's focused on the Civil War. And then there's this war that breaks out against the Dakota and the settlers in Minnesota. And they want Lincoln to do something. And that was his solution. Number 22, Bleak House by Charles Dickens. I've read a lot of his stuff. I'm still trying to make my way through. And this is the one that's on my list for this year. Number 23. This one is going to be an all-year thing. I have it on ebook, but it's like 1,200 pages. It's The Black Lamb and Gray Falcon by Rebecca West. And it's about Yugoslavia and the breakdown of Yugoslavia, the history and stuff of the country. And so I have been wanting to read it for a long time, and this is the year that I'm going to just slowly make my way through it. Rebecca West also wrote The Return of the Soldier, which is a very, very thin novella. It's a beautiful book. I highly recommend it, but this is her nonfiction. Basically her what she's known for, and I really want to read it. And the last three on my list are all also long books, and I finally want to make my way through them. The Shogun by James Clavell. I know that a lot of people talk about this. I love, Japanese history and stuff. I do want to read it. What's fascinating to me is James Clavell was actually mentioned when I was talking about my Hiroshima stuff during the anniversary for the bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki back in August of 2025. And I did a 50-year thing for that, 70-year thing for that. I don't know. Anyway, not even said, yeah. Anyway, he actually was a POV, prisoner of war, POW, and he was released. He hated the Japanese for his time as a prisoner, and he was the one who wrote the letters when the United States was going to bomb Japan. He was the one who was writing the letters, warning people, but also trying to scare them into surrender. And so there's that history there that nobody ever talks about, or at least I don't hear them talk about it when they're talking about Shogun. So he hated the Japanese so much that eventually he started researching and trying to understand them so he could get rid of that hate and try to understand. And that whole experience, him being a prisoner of war, him writing the letters to terrify and the Japanese people before we bombed them, and then his research, all is what made the Shogun. So I have all that going in, and I also have my history, with my Japanese club that I go to, learning Japanese, learning about the culture, and also doing sumo. So I have all this back history that I'm bringing into this book, but I'm really excited for it. Number 25, The Godfather. I just have always wanted to read it, and this will be the year. That one's by Mario Puzo. And then the last one, I finally want to finish Lonesome Dove. I kind of fell by the wayside in 2025. I started it, but didn't get it all the way through. I think I only got like 100 pages in, so I have a long ways to go. So I'm going to continue that and finish that in 2026. So that's by Larry McCurdy. And so those are that's my TBR for 2026. Those are the books that I'm planning on prioritizing. Obviously the library ones, I'm going to have to wait for them to come in. So that's going to be affecting what I'm reading each month, as well as soon as I get access to the ones that I'm purchasing, as soon as they come out, everything else is going to, fall down and fall to the wayside for that one, because those are my top priorities. because I've been waiting for them and I look forward to them most. If you have any on here that were also on your list, or that are new to you and that you're now excited about, or if you read any of these and you have your thoughts, so that I can kind of know what to expect going in, please let me know. Anyway, thank you and happy reading.